Welcome to my channel. In the heart of a Lego village sat a bustling village square where all the townsfolk would gather. A brave Lego knight sharpened his trusty sword, determined to protect the village from any danger. Nearby, a skilled archer practiced shooting arrows at a target, each shot ringing true as they hit the bullseye. Under the shade of a tree sat a wise wizard engrossed in an ancient scroll, muttering incantations under his breath. Suddenly, a villager burst into the square, his face pale with fear. "A dragon! A dragon has stolen our golden treasure," he shouted. "Our village is in peril." The villagers gasped in horror, their eyes wide with fear. But the brave knight stood tall, his hand resting on the pommel of his sword. He would not let a dragon steal their treasure without a fight. Determined to recover the stolen treasure, the knight gathered his companions, the wizard and the archer, and together they set off on a perilous journey to the lair of the fearsome beast. Their path led them up a treacherous mountainside, winding through rocky terrain that threatened to trip them up. With each step, the tension grew, the weight of the village's fate heavy on their shoulders. But the brave knight pressed on, his sword held high, ready to face any danger that lay ahead. Just when their hope began to dwindle, the wizard raised his staff, and to their amazement, it started to glow, illuminating their path and casting away the shadows. The light from his staff guided them through the darkness, until they finally spotted a cave hidden behind a curtain of vines. As they approached the cave, the archer noticed something. In the flickering light of the wizard's staff, he saw what looked like a pair of glowing eyes peering out from the darkness. He drew his bow, nocking an arrow and taking aim. But before he could release his shot, the knight placed a hand on his shoulder. "Wait," he whispered. "Let me go first." With a nod of understanding, the archer stepped back as the knight cautiously entered the cave. The jester, always eager for adventure, bounced around the entrance, trying to peek inside, but the knight gently shooed him away, ensuring the safety of those waiting outside. Inside the cave, the air was thick with the smell of damp earth, and something else, something ancient and powerful. As the knight ventured deeper into the darkness, the faint sound of growling echoed around him. Suddenly, the passage opened up into a vast cavern, and there before him, bathed in the eerie glow of the entrance, stood an enormous dragon. Its scales shimmered like 1,000 gems, and its eyes burned with an otherworldly fire. Startled by the sudden appearance of the knight, the dragon roared, shaking the very foundations of the cave. But the knight stood his ground, raising his sword high. "I am here to retrieve the stolen treasure," he declared, his voice echoing in the cavern. The dragon let out another roar, a challenge, and lunged towards the knight. As the dragon approached, the wizard cast a spell, conjuring a shimmering shield that deflected the dragon's fiery breath. The archer took advantage of the distraction and let loose an arrow, which bounced harmlessly off the dragon's thick scales. The knight, however, was unfazed. He dodged the dragon's snapping jaws and struck back with his sword, clashing against the dragon's sharp claws. The battle raged on, the knight and the dragon locked in a fierce struggle. The knight, though smaller and lighter than the dragon, was agile and quick, dodging the dragon's powerful blows and striking at its flanks whenever he could. The dragon, enraged by the persistent knight, reared back and breathed a torrent of fire, forcing the knight to roll away to avoid being incinerated. Seeing an opportunity, the wizard raised his staff once more and unleashed a spell, sending bolts of lightning crashing down on the dragon. The dragon roared in pain as the lightning scorched its hide. But the dragon's fiery nature was not so easily subdued. It shook its head, sending sparks flying, and unleashed another torrent of fire. This time, however, the wizard was prepared. He raised his staff higher and created a dome of shimmering energy above the knight's head, deflecting the flames and protecting his companion. The archer, watching for his moment, aimed for the small opening under the dragon's wing, hoping to find a weak spot. An arrow loosed, the arrow found its mark. The dragon cried out in pain, its roar echoing through the cavern. The jester, unable to resist the urge to be involved, crept closer to the edge of the cave. As the dragon flailed in pain, the jester stumbled, sending a pie flying through the air. To everyone's surprise, the pie landed squarely on the dragon's snout. The dragon sneezed violently, showering the cavern floor with sparks and showering the jester with dragon scales. The dragon, momentarily stunned, shook its head, sending more sparks flying. Seizing the opportunity, the knight charged forward, his sword raised high. "For the village," he cried. But as he neared the dragon, he noticed something strange. The dragon's eyes, once filled with anger, now held a hint of sadness. And as it lowered its head, the knight heard a voice, not a roar, but a voice that seemed to come from the depths of the earth itself. "I am not a fearsome beast," the dragon said, its voice rumbling like an earthquake. "I am the guardian of these treasures, and I have watched over them for many years. The treasure you seek is mine, and rightfully so." The dragon's words echoed through the cavern, leaving the knight and his companions stunned. The knight lowered his sword slightly, surprised by the dragon's unexpected words. "Why would you say that?" he asked, his voice echoing in the cavern. "If you guard the treasure, why do you keep it from the villagers?" The dragon sighed, a puff of smoke curling from its nostrils. "I do not do it for any selfish reason," it said. "I guard the treasure because it belongs to me, and I will not allow anyone to harm it." The dragon's voice softened. "But you," he continued, turning his gaze to the knight, "you have shown bravery and respect. Perhaps I have been too harsh." The dragon paused, then added, "Tell me, what would you do if you had the treasure?" The knight looked at the dragon, his expression thoughtful. Then he replied, "I would use it to help the villagers and make their lives better." The dragon nodded slowly. "That is a worthy cause," he said. "And perhaps I have been holding on to the treasure for too long." With a deep breath, the dragon rumbled, "Take the treasure. Use it to help the people of your village." The dragon's eyes twinkled with amusement. "But I must warn you," he added, "it is a lot to carry down a mountain." The knight smiled, his heart filled with gratitude. "Thank you," he said. "We will use the treasure wisely." As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the village square, the knight and his companions returned. The villagers, upon seeing the knight and hearing of the dragon's passing, emerged from their homes, their faces etched with worry. But as the knight stepped forward, holding out the treasure, their expressions shifted to awe and gratitude. The knight, with a broad smile, addressed the villagers. "Fear not," he said, his voice echoing in the square. "The dragon has agreed to share his treasure with us, and we are all the richer for it." As the villagers cheered, their voices ringing with joy, the knight knew that this day would be remembered as one of unity, courage, and the unexpected generosity of a dragon. From that day forward, the dragon became a beloved figure among the villagers, often seen playing with the children or sharing stories of his adventures. The knight, the wizard, and the archer, hailed as heroes, continued to protect the village, their bond strengthened by their shared experiences. The jester, never one to miss an opportunity for fun, could often be found riding on the dragon's tail, much to the amusement of all who witnessed it. The tale of the Lego dragon's treasure became a legend, passed down through generations, reminding them that even the most fearsome of creatures can have a heart of gold.